Alrighty, welcome into Chalk Talk Social. It is Tuesday, March 31st, and the Final Four is set across men's and women's. We're coming off a Texas ass beating on Michigan on the women's side of it. We're coming off a UConn buzzer beater heard around the country to snare down Duke. On the sadder news of things, we have Tiger Woods getting another accident. It's kind of old news now, but I mean, figured we talk on it, and if our perspectives on the illustrious, invincible Tiger Woods has changed after another. He wasn't drunk, allegedly, but he may or may not have been on some stuff, some things. In his car, we got to shout out his detail. Whoever's detailing the man's car, that thing looked nice for a car being on his side. So whoever that is, highly recommend their shop because his car was in pretty good shape still after he rolled it. Iman, what's going on? How you feeling on things coming off this weekend?
Hand down, man down. That's the key to everything in basketball. And I don't care if it's a half-court shot, a 2-point mid-range. Come on. Not only that, Boozer, they teach you just hold on to the ball. Make them foul you. Never try to do that cross-court. I mean, that just was, to me, and don't get me wrong, it was Connecticut won the game, but Duke gave it away because you just can't make that pass. And I know you get greedy because you see two guys that leaked is wide open. But come on. But who cares? I love to see Duke lose. Yep. I'm enjoying myself, getting my workouts going on. As y'all can see, I'm starting to fit into these shirts a little bit better, man. Birthday coming up, 44. I'm still ready to run that 4-4. By 44, but hey.
Hey, looking awfully aerodynamic in the skin tight over there.
I mean, I'm trying, man. I'm getting my weight back down. I'm getting in shape, but hey, we here. It's sports time, baby.
You're prepping for that 40 time you promised us, it seems like.
4-4, under 4. Listen, 44 and 4-4. I can do it. I can jump off the couch and do that shit. People just don't understand.
You think we're pausing the clock a little early on that 4-4?
I'm gonna do laser. I ain't gonna do nothing but laser. I got laser. I got laser time gate, so I'm gonna use laser time gates just to show the world, man.
All right. I mean, yeah, on the Duke front, I mean, we can get into it more, but like that final possession before they turned the ball over, like it looked promising. Like they were keeping it away. They weren't getting fouled. They were burning clock, weren't getting fouled until it all came crashing down. So initially, you're like, oh man, they're actually escaping them. They're gonna run away with it. And the smallest change, man, for Mullins to initiate the steal or the tip, whatever, and then getting it back and just ripping it from the logo was just crazy.
Did you see Coach Hurley with the stare down and that forehead to the ref though? Like that had to be just like
I was gonna get into it.
Shit ever though. I just love shit like that. I mean, it's epic. I love it.
But that should have been a T. You can't tell me that's not. You can't tell me. I was looking all over. I saw NBA players, college players all over online be like, that's a technical foul. That ref is a pussy for not calling that. He tail tucked. If you were head to head like Hurley was, I thought it was badass.
Not in that moment. Not in that moment. They can call it tech. They can't call it tech in that moment.
But you can. He went up and headbutted the ref. Essentially, he put his skull on his skull.
That was so fire, though.
It was, look, hey, that was badass. All right. It was cool as shit. But that is a T all day. Imagine you're in the NFL, like an NFL player goes and touches a ref, like puts his helmet on a ref like that in the NFL. Boy's throwing the flag so dang quick, you don't even know what to do with it.
And but I think if it was like a last catch, and then he just like, because I really don't even think he was in his body when he did. I don't think he meant nothing by it. It's just like, yeah, you see what the fuck we doing. You see who I am. I in that moment, if they would have called a tech, I would have been like, oh shit.
But you could understand it. No, there's no way you can't understand if he would have called a T. If a coach or a player comes up and just puts his skull on your skull and be like, hey, motherfucker, hey, boy. Like, I'm the big dog here. That's a T. And the thing that's crazy and why I think it matters too is because by the books, T, no matter what situation, and Duke is getting 2 free throws to then win that basketball game. Yeah, it mattered that much that he didn't call the technical because Duke realistically, with 0.4 seconds left, could have won that game then still. So I thought that was a crazy moment. And again, I'm just leaning on what the NBA players are saying, what the college players. Everyone thinks it was like just Hurley going back into like primal Hurley mode. Yeah. But still, like he could have cost his team a trip. He very easily could have cost his team the trip to the Final Four by doing that. And what we're going to say, like, oh, no, it wasn't justified. Like, when you do it,
yeah,
you can't really defend it.
Like, yeah, you can't. But I just, in that moment, I just always believe refs shouldn't decide games in the moment like that. I let the players decide it. But I mean, and I get it. I mean, Hurley, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know the context to it too. Was it like beef between them two leading up to that point? I don't think so. And he was talking shit about the refs earlier in the year, but I mean, that was earlier in the year. So
it was weird, man. It was like, again, I agree with you. Like, don't let the refs decide it. But if it's egregious or obvious, then you got to call some shit. And that's one of those things, man. You're not allowed to touch the refs. Hurley went over there with some bad intentions on his face. Like,
and granted, if I'm the ref and the coach head to head me, he's gonna probably get a left or right hook.
See,
something. Yeah, he's gonna get something. So I mean, but I fuck with it though. I fuck with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If that's my coach, I'm hyped as fuck. As long as it doesn't cost us the game, I'm hyped up. We got away with one there. We really got away with one there, but I'm hyped about it. All right, you know it's a Tuesday. You know what that means. It's a top 10 in 10. Another abbreviated version because it's tough to get out there right now. And a lot of things happening on Saturday, Friday. So we're going to keep it fresh for you. So number one, back to the game we were just talking about. Obviously, the biggest thing from the week, it was Braylon Mullins, the logo dagger to complete UConn's historic March comeback to shock Duke. Number one seeds were 134-0 when leading by 15 or more at halftime. And Duke specifically had been 27-0 in the tournament when leading by 15 or more at half. You can add a 1 at the end of both of those because UConn was trailing by 19 in the first half. They went down to end the first half by 15 and come back to win. They slowly chipped away at the lead. Mullins, the guy who makes the shot, the diaper dandy, freshman, 0 for 4 before the buzzer beater. In fact, UConn started the game 1 for 18 from three-point land before nailing their last 5 attempts, including arguably the most important three-point shot they've hit this entire year coming from the logo. So now Duke has back-to-back years of heartbreaking Elite Eight collapses. Can't say many people besides Duke fans are out there crying about that. Dan Hurley, guy we were just talking about, is now a spectacular 17-3 in the NCAA tournament as UConn's coach. This boy knows how to win, and he likes to put his head in refs' heads in the process. So should have been teed up, probably, but ref tail tuck, like we said, and UConn gets away with it. And one of the best, just ultimate game enders we've seen in a long, long time in March or in anything for that matter. What's next?
Hey, number 2, the women's Final Four is also set with UConn, UCLA, Texas, and South Carolina. UConn, 25th women Final Four appearance. I mean, the most in women's basketball history. What a program. But if I can say this year is the most, like, I don't know who's going to win because UCLA is a great team with Lauren Betts, probably the most dominant 5 in the game right now, a double-double. I mean, literally through the whole tournament. We're talking about South Carolina, Dawn Staley, one of the best coach team, Raven Johnson. And then we got Texas with Madison Booker. I mean, there is just a mid-range killer. So we don't know who's going to come up on top. I'm going to do my predictions on Texas. I think Texas will be playing UConn in the finals, and I think Texas may take it all away. But who knows? I'm not going to lie to you. This is one of the closest women's Final Four that I've ever seen that I don't really know who's going to win. But I'm excited because I've watched I just be honest. I haven't watched every boys game. I've watched damn near every girls tournament game since the Sweet 16. So I'm excited for the Final Four.
It's been competitive, right? And then on the flip side of things, we got the men's Final Four now teeing up. Everyone knows you've been checking your brackets like a bunch of D-gens, but Michigan, UConn, Illinois, and Arizona making up the Final Four on the men's side. Big Ten with 2 of the 4 teams. This was one of the most dominant conference performances in recent tournament history, and most definitely for the Big Ten in a long, long time, especially with Iowa making kind of the run, Nebraska making a run after never winning a game, and of course the Illini up there right now doing their thing with one of the best offenses in the country. Ken Palm's number 1 offense finally showed out and just gave Iowa the Cinderella death, kiss of death to after a really physical second half of play. It's Illinois' first Final Four since 2005. They set a tourney record before this last game against Iowa with In their first 3 games had only allowed 10 foul shots, I believe. Yeah, 10 foul shots, an insane record. They just do not foul. They're insanely clean. Arizona, another team in there, overcame a 7-point halftime deficit to outscore Purdue 48-26 in the second half. Arizona's first Final Four since 2001. Seems crazy to say considering how good they've been year after year after year. Koa Pete, the man averaging 17.5 points a game on 54% shooting across the tourney, is the West region's most outstanding player. He surpassed NBA legend, Kings legend, Mike Bibby, school freshman record for points in an Elite Eight game with his 20-point effort against Purdue. Michigan also claiming their first trip since 2018, being the most dominant team looking right now in this tournament. I don't know who's going to be able to stop them. I mean, UConn, I don't know. I'm looking at this, and I think between Michigan and Arizona, they are the 2 favorites to win the tourney, but only one of them is coming out of the Final Four live because they got to play each other. And that I wish was the championship game because I think those are the 2 best teams. But I think whoever wins that one is your national champion, no doubt about it. What's next?
All right, the Minnesota Timberwolves record the largest OT comeback in history to win 110-108 over my just depressing Houston Rockets at the end. I mean, this is not the biggest blunder that we've been having this past season. But anywho, Minnesota overcame a 13-point overtime deficit. And I say this all the time, and I don't know if people see it, but I'm not lying. Anthony Edwards is the closest thing to Mr. Black Mamba and Jordan that I've ever seen. And I know that's a hard comparison. I do think he needs to get out of Minnesota because he'll never win there. But this guy just seems to be clutch every time. I mean, he's playing the best ball of his career, averaging 30 points over the last 2 weeks of the season. In Minnesota right now with Julius Randle, Jay McDaniels have also been inconsistent. So he's been the guy to say, hey, just give me the ball. Tell the coach, hey, I'm taking this shot. Get out of my way. And, I mean, they seem to put Minnesota tied with Denver for the 4th and 5th seed. And I'm telling you, going into the playoffs, if Anthony Edwards is on the court, he can beat any team because, once again, I'm going to say it. People have been saying it, but I'm going to say it. The closest thing to the Black Mamba and Mr. Jordan is Anthony Edwards in the NBA right now.
I mean, you're not too far off. He might be related to somebody. We know or not know. But anyways, over to the MLB. We had opening weekend in the MLB with 5 teams escaping undefeated. And I was actually just checking that. All of them are about to be defeated finally. But it was the Marlins, the Brewers, of course, the Dodgers, Yankees, and Blue Jays all left opening weekend undefeated. The Marlins kind of the biggest surprise here to their hot start, even if it was against the Rockies. And now it looks like they're going to lose to the White Sox. Not a great look. The Brewers offense went absolutely nuclear against the White Sox, but again, who wouldn't? The Brewers also struck out 20 White Sox in a single game, something that has not been done in decades long in the MLB. Dodgers, obviously, would be shocked if they didn't leave the opening weekend undefeated. And then the Yankees and Blue Jays already proven what we talked about last episode, that it is going to be a bloodbath at the top of the AL East this season. So between a couple rookies just going out of their mind in opening weekend, it was a great start to MLB season with the ABS system coming into full effect early, making differences. MLB's got a lot of momentum right now. They got a lot of momentum. We'll get into it more after this, but what's next?
All right, last we're going with my girl, Shanoya Douglas, who is a blood clot Jamaican track runner who's 17 years old, who just literally broke the U20 record running 22:36. And we're talking about at 17 running 22:36. And it was in a negative 1.6 win. So let's be clear. She might would have went 21-9 if it was a 2.0 legal win. But yeah, Shanoya Davis also went 10:96, who was like the fifth female to ever go under 11 seconds, under 18 in the history of track and field, passing Brianna Williams and Brianna Listen, who was also Jamaican athletes. And listen, we all know Jamaicans been running fast since running fast. But as Shelly Ann Frazier is making an exit out of the game and Elaine Thompson is making an exit out the game as they're getting older, and even Sharika Jackson, Jamaica's gotten old, but with Shanoya Douglas clearly they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So America, we got to keep running because Shanoya Douglas is on her way. Y'all like my Jamaican thing. I got to represent for Jamaica. But yeah, she did good.
I wasn't ready for that. I like that though.
Yeah.
All right, where do we start? Do we start with NIL killing parity in college basketball, or do we start about ABS making baseball more electric? Which one would you prefer?
I mean, I've been talking about the NIL, and I don't think it's killing parity because I like it. I mean, to see people like Michigan in the Final Four is the greatest thing ever. So we can start with NIL. Let's start with NIL.
Okay. Well, to lead it off, so NIL, it's impacting college sports more than we ever could have thought possible. Like, is it a good or bad thing? Now that we're kind of seeing how it's having its effect on March Madness, college basketball. This is the first Final Four in 2 years without a true mid-major Cinderella. And we have not seen there was this year double-digit seeds, so anything 10, 11, 12, those guys. They won just 5 games the entire tournament, excluding play-ins, which from 2010 to 2021, double-digit seeds averaged between 10 and 13 wins in a tournament. So that number got sliced in half this year, and that's a big reason why is because we're just not seeing mid-major stars stay with their team because of the transfer portal, because of NIL. So is this a good thing for the sport? Is it a bad thing for the sport? Because obviously we're seeing March Madness has drastically changed because of it. What do you think on that?
So I'm always pro athlete. So I'm going to say it's a good thing for the sport because even like the guy that's at Michigan, he started at a JUCO, then went somewhere else. Then he came from UAB. Listen, anybody who can work their way up to get a check, I'm all for it because they're talking the bitch guy is making $200,000 on a Power 4 team. So I'm pro player. And I like what mid-major does for college basketball. It's kind of like the G League of the NCAA. It's good coaching down there, small programs where kids can go down there and develop. But I just think everybody should have an opportunity to be able to move on because we know everybody's not making an NBA. Let's just be clear. The NBA is probably one of the most exclusive thing to make. It's the hardest out of all pro sports. It's the hardest because it's only 5 spots. So anytime kids can just kind of move up and get a jump start on life once they finish college, I'm all pro on that. And let's just be clear. Nobody wants to see VCU in the Final Four. And even though I'm from Virginia, we knew we had no George Mason and them. We didn't have a fucking chance in hell to win. And I'm just being honest. I don't want to see Green Bay of Wisconsin. And I'm taking shots at where you stay. It just came to my head. But yeah, I don't want to see St. Joe's playing in the Final Four. I don't like it. I'm a big time popularity. I mean, I just like the bad bitches. When I walk in the party, I want to see all dimes. I don't want to see any 4s and 3s. So I just love the party when it's all dimes in there. So that's just me. And like I said, I'm pro players getting what they deserve, getting what they work for. If they giving it away, go get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's kind of similar to college football. Look, the first round, it's kind of cute, kind of like it. It's exciting. You see a 2 or 3 or a 5 seed or a 4 seed get upset in the first round. Like, awesome. This is fun. It's an electric factory. Good for that team. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, like, let's be real here. No matter what they got going right now, they ain't going to be one of the big dogs down the stretch, down the run. They don't got the bodies. No matter how good that mid-major might be that year, no matter if they've upset 3 teams on the way there, however far they end up getting, you never see them at the end for a reason. And that's what mid-major play was like at its peak. So they could make these runs because these programs were players of guys who were there for 3 to 4 years. Like these mid-major Cinderella stories, it's the cohesion, it's the experience. It's not a bunch of freshmen and sophomores running that team. No, it's the older cats that have been there and done that for a long time. The coach has been there for a minute. And now it's just to the point like college football, man. Anytime there's a standout player, they just transfer to a big dog. A great example recently now being Donovan Dent, going from New Mexico to UCLA, right? At New Mexico was averaging over 20 points a game, over 6 assists per game, top 15 nationally in scoring and assists, goes over to UCLA. And UCLA was kind of, they got bounced by UConn, but it's that type of thing. Xavier Lee from Princeton to Florida. Like there's other examples all over it, but it's essentially just become a pro sport system at this point. within a college sport. You nurture the talent for us, then we will pay to take them off your hands. So it's just kind of what we're seeing now in college sports. Like these lesser schools are becoming like the college team within the college sport because the big teams are becoming like the pro teams. Like I just said, they're just going to buy them off you when they're ready to think they're nurtured enough to come up to the big leagues and hang with the big dogs and piss in the tall grass. So I'm kind of with you on the like why it's good for the sport. Player empowerment. They're getting paid. They have the freedom to move. Like, hey, coaches are bouncing around and leaving whenever they want. Lane Kiffin type shit. Why can't players? And I think it's better for the top because look, like I said, at the end of the day, the cream's going to always rise to the top. And no matter how good a mid-major is, no matter how deep they run, they never find themselves at the end. So the high major teams are getting stacked. There's fewer bad teams late in the tournaments. And you can't sit here and tell me you're mad with how the Elite Eight played out and how the Final Four is about to look. No one could say that. Now, on the flip side of that coin, why is it a bad thing? Well, you could argue like a big part of the March magic is these teams, these mid-majors, these Cinderellas, these Loyola Chicagos, the Sister Mary Jean schools, bouncing a team or two out that, probably shouldn't have lost to that team. That's been part of the March magic and allure for so long. And that's kind of leaving. The second side of that is the structural imbalance to this all now is kind of the big one. So power schools dominate the NIL, which means they're going to dominate exposure and talent pipeline. Like I said, gone are the days of the Loyola universities where that one big tournament win maybe wins you a recruit or two because of the exposure, the national broadcast, and the hype. Like maybe that wins you a recruit that you really want that's picking you or someone else. Like, well, you had that moment in March Madness. I'm going to pick you. I kind of like the hype that y'all got around you right now. These schools don't really have a shot for that type of exposure anymore because they're not making any type of runs like they used to now. It's becoming harder and harder to compete with the big dogs in the tall grass. So I think there's plus and minuses to it, but ultimately, like, I don't know. So you're saying yes, it's good for the sport overall?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always for it, and I also think these mid-major coaches and organizations and schools got to get off their ass because I was listening to Doug Gottlieb talk about how his NIL is only $95,000 and Kentucky's is $20,000. But to me, Doug Gottlieb is lazy.
20 million or 200,000?
I mean, you know what I mean, 20 million, and his is 95,000. But I'm like, you need to get off your ass because. And Austin, this is true facts. These are true numbers. I raised $15,000 for my track team in 30 days, and I usually do 40 a year. I raise around 40,000 a year because I'm not a lazy coach. I get out and beat the streets. I beat the community. I don't mind people telling me no because I understand that you need money to run a program. And if I can do that at a high school, then we're talking about Doug Gottlieb, who's actually a celebrity coach. Can raise the money. They just lazy and want to rely on, we want the alumni just to get. Well, you got to go find them and get them in. So I mean, like I said, I love it. I like big time schools. Like I said, I don't want to fucking see these small schools playing in the Final Four. And like I said, it was cool in the 70s, but nobody's won no time soon. So it's just I don't want to see it. So like I said, I like the top end and. Stop being lazy, coaches. Go out here, recruit, and get the money.
Aggravate some pavement. Get them boots stomping out there. Go find something. Like, I get it. I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, I think it comes down for me. Even when mid-majors are at their peak, Cinderella's at their peak, they're never in the end. So ultimately, like, it impacts a first round or two in terms of like, we're going to miss those games. And we still get them because of my Badgers. As long as my Badgers are in the tournament, you can guarantee a 12 seed's probably going to be able to take them down. It happens every damn year the Badgers lose to someone that they shouldn't. So as long as Wisconsin's around, someone who shouldn't be there still has a chance to make it around there. So, yeah, I would say it takes a little bit of the lust away from March Madness and what we're used to, but I think ultimately it's like one of those things. I kind of like it more for college basketball than I do for college football, and maybe it's because college basketball is such a one and done sport where college football is not. Where, like, I mean, how many teams in college basketball, like, dudes are there for 1 year anyways, like freshmen getting drafted all the time. So maybe it's why I think it's a little different in college football because dudes have to be there longer in college football to where, like, you really need to build up a program. You really need some cohesion for year after year. College basketball, these coaches at the top, they're all used to having dudes in and out in 1 year, 2 year as is. So that's why I think it's a little different. And I'm less like, oh, that sucks how it's impacting sport. I was like, I mean, it's going to make the top really, really creamy, really competitive up there at the top. So I almost kind of like what it's doing, to be totally honest.
And it's great basketball being played.
Great
I'm trying to
basketball.
tell you, it's great basketball being played. So, and people just got to understand that I played D2. My team was just a little worse than the D1 teams. So the skill level is different. So, yeah, you don't want to look at me play D2 all day because I'm pretty sure that. So people want to just see good basketball. And let's be clear, those big time schools with the big budgets play a little bit better of basketball because they're depth. They have more depth. Like their 10th guy on the bench is probably better than the mid-major third guy. So it's like, fuck them small schools.
You know what's funny, though? That Braylon Mullins, he rejected Duke. He did not go to Duke. And then he took Duke out of the tournament. I think that was a fun.
Fire.
That's a fun little thing. Hey, fuck you, and then fuck you again. I love that.
Fire.
Yep, I love it. All right, over to baseball really quick because the ABS system has already played a huge role in baseball. And I think, honestly, it's making the sport a little bit more fun. Like I said earlier, baseball's got a lot of momentum coming off the World Baseball Classic. Was an insanely hyped event. You got players out there saying it matters more to them than a World Series, some crazy shit. But the automated ball strike system in the first weekend had a 54% overturn rate and has drastically helped improve baseball, get the correct outcomes. It's also super quick. So everyone used to complain, baseball takes forever to watch, taking way too long. So they got the pitch clock. And now with this ABS thing, you just tap your head, and in 5 seconds later, you got the correct call coming up because everyone sees it on the big screen too. That's why it's awesome. It's like a little game inside the game. They put it on the big screen, and when it hits the way the crowd wants it hits, it goes insane in there. Like Eugenio Suarez with the Reds had back-to-back challenges overturned, and he got huge crowd pop on the first one, and on that second one, it was even bigger, and it mattered a lot. Like he would have struck out, didn't strike out otherwise. So it feels like for something so simple, it's actually injected some life into baseball, which, like I said, riding a lot of momentum right now. And I mean, it's kind of embarrassing for the umps, right? I mean, you're hired to do this job, and now you got the robots telling you, hey, a lot, 50% of the time you've been wrong so far. They're getting checked on a lot of incorrect calls that otherwise, as we've seen countless times just from this opening weekend, would have had big, big impacts on the game and the outcome and the result of an at-bat. So I'm a huge fan of this ABS thing right now. Are you liking it? You hating it? Where are you feeling?
No. Listen, I'm a gambler. So I love to take it out of fucking people's hand who can affect how I win my money. So I'm all for it. I think the NFL somehow got to find something that can get automatic calls. I mean, to me, it just to me, it just gives the umpire less stress and have to worry about getting a beer can thrown at their head, because I've seen a lot of bad calls made in my years of watching baseball where you like, fuck, what are you doing? That wasn't a strike, or that was a strike. So like I said, I mean, we're going in the age of 2026, Austin. Why are they making all this AI and all of this technical shit and robots if we're not gonna use it? And to me, now the only thing that's a little scary is somebody's programming that. So I don't know, one day one of them can just get mad and just start programming bullshit. So, but I like it because, like I said, I don't like leaving it up to people who could just be taking $10,000 to call strikes all night or not non-strikes all night, because it affects my money, and I'm a gambler. And if you watch sports, sometimes you be looking like, oh, he's on the take. So I love it. I love it.
I was thinking about it too, because I'm watching these umps have to deal with the fact that their calls are getting overturned. And I wonder how it's going to impact the longevity of umps in the sport. I mean, their morale's probably going to take a hit. They're feeling like their judgment, which, baseball's always relied on the umpire's judgment, and pitchers know some umps got different zones than the others, and you kind of got to play to it. It's been a part of the sport for as long as time. And now this kind of system is undermining their judgment calls. But like you said, like for rightfully so, like every year they make wrong calls. Every game they make wrong calls. Now they're getting checked. And it's for the betterment of the game, the outcomes that matter. It's just like kind of the inverse of it. But I got to wonder what's being said in those umpire rooms. Like, they got to be talking mad shit about this ABS stuff. I can't imagine their fans. I mean, You got to wonder if it comes into their like paychecks one day, be like, hey, if you have an overturn rate greater than 50%, we're gonna have to have a conversation type shit. And then you start losing morale, the umps start getting a little bit more on edge, and then you start losing umpires before you know it. Maybe in 5 years there's no umpires in baseball. Maybe no one's behind the plate in 5
Yeah, well,
years.
no, they're gonna always have to have that because I just think a human just being back
Yeah,
there has always got to make certain calls. But I
yeah.
think that's only right though, Austin. Like I look at NFL refs and NFL crews. So my guy used to be a ref for college, and he said they would get graded on things, and if you a piece of shit ref, you don't get all the big time games to make money. Because I
Mhm.
think he ref for the SEC or the Big Ten, can't remember which one, but he said when guys just when they review your film and you're just making all the dumb calls and not making calls, you do not make games. So I just like stuff like that where refs are held accountable. Was crazy. I wish I would have sent Joey this picture. A ref in the 7-on-7 just actually got knocked out this weekend in North Carolina, which I don't know why in the 7-on-7. But sometimes refs just make dumb calls and affect the games. And I'm not saying they should get knocked out, never. But I'm telling you, Austin, if you coached or you just played, you just sometimes look at the refs or umpires and be like, no way you were looking at that and just called that. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Fuck them.
Yeah, you know what I've always wondered too, like watching NFL games, that the ref in the center of the field, who's like looking at the quarterback and shit on the defensive side of the ball. How do they avoid everything? How do they like? It's like they know when players are gonna be right next to them. Like you got burly men sprinting towards you. You got to have like the best peripheral vision in the world. Because I watch those refs, like how are they dodging this shit? Like you got a running back coming straight at you, and you got to know which way to go to get out of his way while also not bumping into another player. I've never understood the dynamics of
And
that.
you wonder why they don't be making the right calls because that umpire is supposed to be handling the front line like center guard. That's why they ass never make no calls because they do got to worry about shit like that. But yeah, I've ran into a few in my days, though. I've ran into a few.
I'm surprised more of those dudes aren't just getting clocked out there and getting their shit clean because they're in the middle of some heat and they somehow like they're dodging bullets coming at them too. Like when quarterbacks are slinging them over the middle, the ref's looking that thing right in the face like, oh my God, I hope someone catches this football and not my face. Yeah, so I've never wanted that. I've never understood that. But last thing on the ABS thing, again, an electric factory, we got a manager already get tossed from the game. The Twins manager got ejected because he thought the Orioles pitcher didn't ask for a challenge quick enough, which again, you got to put your shit up on your head real quick to get that. And it instead resulted in the pitcher not only winning the challenge, but it turned ball 4 into strike 3 for the second out in the top of the ninth. So this is the type of stuff I'm saying. This is why like finally the system is about, because you're talking about crunch time in the clutch, the most impactful moments of the very end of the game in a close game, and the ref fucks up and the ABS system corrects it and the right result happens. I just can't help but watch it and be like, the MLB has struggled to like just like really get traction, and somehow this ABS system is getting all this stuff online on Twitter. Everyone's talking about it. And NFL is usually the king of kings in sports. And somehow they're still behind all of this. And they haven't been, we're still using chains in the NFL at times, which seems insane to think about. Like, how is the NFL not adopted something yet? Speaking of NFL, actually, this is going to turn out to be a pretty quick show at this pace. We're doing good right now. Speaking of NFL, we got to get back into some NFL content. It's been a long time since we talked NFL because NBA's wrapping up the playoffs. A lot of stuff's happened. MLB's just kicking up. NFL's in its dead season, waiting for the draft to come around. You're just scratching your butt thinking about things to come about for NFL. But let's start a little mini series coming up. Most underrated series, we'll call it. And today we're going to start with quarterback for our most underrated series. Iman, I'm going to kick it over to you. Who do you think is the most underrated quarterback going into this 2026 season next year?
So I'm going with the forgotten number 1 pick, Kyler Murray. I think he's gonna have an MVP year. And I listen, and this is based on health though. So all right. I don't want
your
people
own
to
health.
I don't want people to hold this against me if he get hurt. I'm just saying Kyler Murray is due for comeback player of the year. He's somebody that everybody's forgotten about. just because of his blunders he's had in Arizona, his seriousness of the game in Arizona, the lack of enthusiasm playing in the losing organization. So I just think he's gonna take Minnesota to higher heights this year. And not only that, I think Minnesota's going to take him back to where he can display his unbelievable talent. And who doesn't want JJ to throw to every down? I mean, one of the best receivers in the league. Tight ends, they got the good best number 2. And I mean,
Addison.
Yeah, Jordan Addison. And your head coach is the play caller, and he's clearly one of the best play callers in the NFL. So I think my underrated quarterback going into this year is Kyler Murray. I'm real bullish on him having just an MVP season because I think he got something to prove. I really think he's a competitor where he want to prove that he can play in this league, and he's serious about what he's doing. So that's my underrated guy coming into this year.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the argument for it. And I think the got something to prove thing is a really big part of it. And his contract tells you it, that he's got something to prove because he's playing on a prove it deal. God darn it. And he's at the age, right? This dude's about to be 30. He's going into a situation where it's no sure bet, and he has no job locked up next year. This is his time. If Kyler Murray does not make this work in Minnesota, he's going to be on a new team next year. He's going to be in a spot. I mean, he's not really competing for a spot in Minnesota. Let's be clear. Like JJ McCarthy, the Vikings failed him. He should never have been picked as early as he was anyways. For Kyler, he's going in there, likely was told he's got the starting job, and that was probably a big thing to do with it. But if it doesn't work out, man, next year, he's not getting a guaranteed starting job unless a team is really, really desperate. He's going to have to be competing because he's going to be 30. He's going to be coming off, again, if it doesn't work, a mid-season, let's call it, with the best receiver in football is like a really bad look. Just ask J.J. McCarthy and what that'll do to you. So I like the argument of like, he knows this is none up or shut up time. He doesn't have much tread left in his NFL career. One, because of all the injuries he's had already. And two, because like he's almost 30 and he's got stuff that he's got to prove as a quarterback. And now he's kind of playing with nothing to lose and everything to gain. That's a scary individual.
And all the off-field stuff is gonna allow him not to be a backup anywhere. And he's 5'9", so a lot of people are not just gonna be rushing to pick a 5'9" backup guy who loves to play video games and not take the game serious. So
I think I'm definitely with you on like the injury thing is going to make or break his season, honestly, because if he stays healthy all 16, it's probably going to be a really damn good. It's probably going to be a career year for Kyler. Honestly, it's kind of like I bet you it ends up being some type of iteration of Sam Darnold with the Seahawks. Maybe not to that extent, but like you want to talk about, he's got his JSN. He's got a better version of JSN and Jordan and Jefferson. So like, and he's got the coach, just like Seattle's got the coach. He's got a decent enough backfield. I think Seattle had a better backfield compared to, old Aaron Jones and I'm blanking on the other cat's name that they got back there, but that's kind of the point. Jordan Mason is nice, but he's no, all world running back there. But I could kind of see it being like a Sam Darnold with the Seahawks for Kyler Murray this year. And that's kind of the ceiling, the upside to it. But the downside is like he gets hurt again. And that's kind of the last chapter on the Kyler Murray as a starting NFL quarterback thing, man. Yeah. He hasn't played healthy. He hasn't played healthy in a long time, but he is still a problem on the ground to have to bring down. Going to be very hard to bring him down still if he's scooting around there like a little, reminds me of like a Tom chasing Jerry around the house type shit. Yeah, big linebacker chasing around this mouse. You can't get him. He's too small. Can fit through every little crack. And Nookie out there. But all right. Anything else you want to add on Kyler Murray before I give you my guy?
No. That's it.
I think it's a fair one. As much as I don't want to see him succeed in Minnesota as a Packers fan.
I mean, that's going to push y'all back a little further.
Nah, I still think still fourth place team. That's a fourth place roster.
What?
Top to bottom roster. Oof. That's the fourth best roster in the NFC North. I don't think it's even. I don't even think it's close. And I don't think it's even close that Jordan Love and Caleb Williams are by far the best quarterbacks in that division. Jared Goff's a statue, but he's been a much better passer over his whole career than Kyler has ever been, and Jared Goff's not getting hurt either. So Kyler Murray is also the fourth best quarterback in the division starting. That doesn't mean he'll end there, but starting there. And I do think they have a better coach than Dan Campbell, but I don't even know what to say on the floor at this point. But Ben Johnson's probably still the best like offensive mind in that division. Kevin O'Connell hasn't exactly developed a quarterback at this point. As nice as Sam Darnold look. All right, I'm gonna go with Trevor Lawrence here though. And I know the Jaguars had their great season, and I think he definitely broke out last season. But right now, I was kind of looking at a bunch of quarterback ranks, and the reason I think Trevor Lawrence is a little underrated is because about everyone's ranks, no matter what you cut it, if it's fantasy, if it's this, if it's that, he's kind of coming into like the 10, 11, 12, 13 range. Not really the 10 range, more like 12, 13, 14, honestly, when you get into it. But man, once he got comfortable in Liam Cohen's system, and especially once Jacoby Myers came in there to relieve some of the poor efforts at wide receiver that they had, we started to see his ceiling. Like we were knocking on Trevor Lawrence's ceiling the whole back half of the year. We know just how good it was. And it really went from more of the same Trevor Lawrence, another disappointing season, to the second half of the year is like, oh, so this is what the ceiling really looks like at full capacity. And 2025 really gave you hope that this version of Lawrence is here to stay, right? He's got the volume. He's got the touchdown progression. He's got the late season production. Take him to one of the best seasons the Jaguars have ever had. And sure, Liam Cohen definitely had a ton to do with that. But you look at the 4,000 plus passing yards, the 29 touchdowns, 12 picks is still a lot, but over 300 rushing yards, almost 10 rushing touchdowns. He was sixth in yards, fifth in passing touchdowns. In the process, the Jags set a franchise record in points last year in year one of a new system. And that also includes they ranked top 10 in points scored. I just can't see that going backwards, as you know, we saw it kind of really click in the back half of the year. All right, now we got a year under our belt. I think the system's only going to get better, which means I think the guy under center is only going to get better. And he's going to get a full season with Jacoby Myers. Brenton Strange proved to be an incredible factor for them on offense. And when he was healthy, he was a big weapon. Brian Thomas quite literally can't get worse than he played last season. And they're going to have a much better idea how to more effectively use Travis Hunter in that offense because, you know, right when he got hurt, we only saw one game where he kind of broke out on offense. I think he's going to be more on defense. But then Parker Washington, man, say what you will about him. He's no elite threat, but he certainly became a legit threat in that Jaguars offense down the stretch. Penn State cat finally kind of coming into his own in the NFL here. And the one thing with Trevor Lawrence, man, if his accuracy just improves, that's a big thing still holding him back. And that is the biggest, toughest thing to fix in a quarterback. If you come out an inaccurate quarterback, you're probably not going to just out of nowhere become an accurate quarterback. But, but if he kind of gets that back on track, and again, I think they got the right system he's more comfortable in. He was making more decisive throws and decisions last year in the back half of the year. You get more of that. Man, having Trevor Lawrence right now is like the 11th, 12th, 13th best quarterback in football. I think he's going to finish I mean, he still finished, I think, a top 6 candidate for MVP last year. Believe that or not. I think he was 5th in passing touchdowns. Like, I think that's kind of where he finishes again. So I think, all these rankings of him outside the top 10, that's why I'm thinking he's underrated going into this year. He broke out last year. Now it's time for him to, prove he's here to stay and that the volatility days are past him.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence just gives me that white Dak Prescott. Like he's listen, real solid guy. He's gonna win a lot of games, but he's just always gonna run into a quarterback that's just better than him when it comes time to really win playoffs or win the big one. It's like Dak is like good, but he's just not better than the guys who's real good. So it's like he reminds me of that. I mean, and I thought initially when he came in the NFL that he was just gonna be Josh Allen type, but I just think he just doesn't curl. Like I'm telling you, he reminds me of Dak. Like Dak is real good. I think people don't give Dak. He was probably going to be my second pick far as underrated because Dak wins a lot of games. He gets a lot of stats, but it's just like
a lot of MVP type stats.
Yeah, but anytime he goes against somebody that's just better than him, you can see the difference in elite quarterbacks and Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott is the peak of the guys who are not elite. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Trevor gives me that feel. He's still young, so he's got a little bit more years to kind of prove himself. But that AFC, he's always going to run against Josh, Patrick, Lamar. I just think he's never going to get past them. It's going to be hard. So we'll see, though.
Yeah, and I mean to your point, like the the Trevor Lawrence we've all come to know in the NFL, he came to show on when it mattered most of the end of the season there in the playoffs, and it's very Dak like where you might have a great year, but then when it matters most, where were you? What did you do to get us over the hump? And so we saw that Trevor Lawrence kind of shrivel back up into form come playoff time, which again, if he can just clean up the fumbles and as a Jordan Love fan, lover. That one bad throw a game that he makes, you're like, what the hell were you even looking at, fella? Like, what are you doing there? Trevor Lawrence is the same way. He's still got one of those moments like every game, like just, guy, are you kidding me right now? And even with him, I think it's kind of the same. Like, he is young, but like, it's taken him a while to get to this point, if we're being honest, especially for a number one overall pick, one of the most hyped prospects ever coming out of college. And I never really was bought into him coming out of college. And that's not to say like, oh yeah, I know better. It's just like, I just had that feeling in my gut, like him, Zach Wilson, Trubisky. I just had that feeling in my gut. Even JJ McCarthy, like, I don't know. I'm not buying it. For something about it, I'm not buying. Maybe it's the
Man.
Goldilocks thing with him, but it's taking a while. If he just cleans up these ill-timed, poor decision mistakes or the fumbles, he's very good at putting the ball on the ground. That's for sure. He cleans that stuff up, man. I'm buying that this next season is Trevor Lawrence's best year of his career. I'm jumping on that wagon now with a full year of Cohen under his belt, year 2 with Jacoby Myers and Cohen, and just like this offense kind of seemed like it's hitting the best form maybe the Jaguars offense has ever seen. So I'm kind of buying it. I don't know. We might have 2 like under the radar MVP candidates out of this underrated session right now. If all things go right.
Listen, man, this podcast been calling shit for a long time. So, hey, we're going to see. I mean, if nothing else, I think both of them will have a good year. So, we're going to see.
Tell your friends.
Let me see.
Tell your friends. We say some things that are right sometimes around here. Not all the time, but sometime. Before we go wrap it up, Iman, do you have any thoughts? I know we were talking before the show. You had some stuff you had to get off your chest on Tiger Woods, Mr. Tiger Woods.
I mean,
anything you want to share?
Just Tiger, just get off the pills, man. First of all, we know you love the white girl prostitutes, man. And when you get them white girl prostitutes, you just gotta pop all. You're getting old now. Your back fucked up, so I know you gotta pop the pills to kind of get the hips going. Because when your back fucked up, it's hard to get.
Hey, we got Blue Chews for that now, baby. Come on, not a sponsor.
What I'm saying? It don't take the pain out his back, though. You know what I'm saying? So in order for him to really get his hips into it, Austin, he got to take them pills. Just fucking get a driver, bro. You're rich. Yeah. You're a billionaire. Let's be clear. You're a billionaire. Stop driving, bro, because you get too high. I think he was still drunk. I'm telling you. He owns the cops in California, so they're probably not even giving him sobriety tests because he's Tiger. I think he was drunk, but come on, piece of shit, Tiger. Stop it, man. It was funny. I like him as an athlete. I never liked him as like a person, though. He gives me that smug, like, I think I'm better than everybody type shit. So I never really liked Tiger. I mean, I respect his game and what he did in golf and all that shit. But I just always thought he was an asshole and a piece of shit.
I mean, when you come up with your dad that he had, did you watch that Tiger documentary?
Yeah.
His dad's a royal piece of shit. It seems like
he get it. I mean,
I genuinely think, because there's golfers in that documentary talking about like his soul was sold to the devil to make sure Tiger was the greatest golfer the world has ever seen, which he is, which makes it crazy.
The greatest.
Okay, so who are you gonna put? Who?
Jack Nicklaus? Not. I mean,
okay,
I mean, who has the most majors now? We got to come on now.
That's fair. I've just I think more of maybe it's my generation thing. I came up with the Sunday Red, the putts from deep, just watching those, the one that just tickled the hole and then eventually fell. I mean, I was growing up in Tiger's prime, and so I kind of have my bias towards being able to watch prime Tiger as a kid.
I was there too, and he did, but I thought his latter career just kind of went off the rails. And they tried to blame the back injuries. I'm telling you, I think he's a fucking pill addict. They tried to blame the back injuries, and he has so much torque. His latter career didn't kind of live up to it. So I mean,
that's fair.
Skill-wise, maybe, but I still think Rory going to end up being better, probably end up winning more
Really?
Bo and all of them probably going to end up winning more majors. I'm telling you, they're young and
Wow.
still got time.
Well, Rory ain't young anymore, but he does have time. He doesn't have the injuries. And I think the craziest thing about it all is how the hell is Tiger behind the wheel? Like, I know y'all want some like autonomy to drive, but bro, how do you not have a driver everywhere you go? Kick back. And if you gotta do your thing in the back seat, man, just drive the driver, put the window up or something.
He's
Like the
a
limos got the window.
billionaire, Austin. Yes,
How does he not have a driver
partition.
everywhere he goes, dude? Like, and it's a shame that, like, think about it. What has really scarred Tiger's professional career? It's been off-field accidents. Whether he's getting, I don't even know what was the one we can like beat up by some shit. Didn't like a girl like beat him up or some shit? He's been in numerous car accidents. Like Tiger's fall off is from off the course stuff, which is such a shame because the dude on the course is one of the best talents any sport has ever seen.
Oh,
So
for sure.
it's just a shame that like it's the off-course stuff that has cost him, like you said, the back half of his career kind of just tailed off. And it wasn't because of what he was doing on the course. It was everything off of it. So it's just a real shame. Like you can't say that it's wasted talent because it certainly wasn't.
He got everything out of the sport he needed to. It's
He
just
could have got more. Like if he wasn't a nut off the course and behind the wheel, there could have been so much more. That's the thing. That's the disappointing part, man.
Because he's really not that old, though. I mean, he's older, but he's not that old. But I guess, Austin, when you creeping, you kind of can't have a driver because then they'll know your business. So, I mean, I'm being honest. When you creeping, my uncle used to tell me you got to do your dirt all by your lonely. So, because if one person know, one person telling. So, you got to kind of creep by yourself. So, I mean, hey.
Hey, okay, respect the hustle, man. You got to do what you got to do, even if it costs you the back half of your golfing career. So be it. Hey, so be it. If it's that good, it's that good, I guess. All right. All right, that's another episode of Chalk Talk Social. We will see y'all on Friday to talk a little bit more sports heading into the weekend with some college basketball. The Final Four coming about. We'll see what we got on for a guest, but we'll have another fan on here talking sports, doing another lineup of sorts. Until then, we'll see you guys.